Okay, let's just play it back. That's the impact of speaking life over someone else. Empowering them to believe in their abilities, to believe that they are made for more and made for impact, to step into God's calling on their heart. It still takes courage, it still takes boldness, but you know, it's worth it. It's worth it for me to speak this life into you, because when someone spoke this life into me, it led me to where I am now. It led me to believe that I could do it. October of 2018, I had written down like Lane and Lou for the first time. Look back at that, we're like, wow, you never know when you're dreaming something up that's something. And even if it doesn't blow up, whatever, like it's still something, you're still called to it. Like I really just want to meet you where you are and say I was there too. Hey, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I am so excited about today's video. It was one that was requested by one of you guys, so I'm so excited. I think it was Mel's Crafty Corner, so shout out to you. You asked me what initially made me want to start my own business. And I think that is such an awesome question to start with, and kind of like the one that I chose to do first and release next to you guys, because I feel like this is foundational as a small business owner, and just allowed me to reflect on my why and kind of what the last 2 years, over 2 years, have looked like, and bringing me back to like, okay, like why did you even want to start, Lainey? And I don't know, so that was just a super good question, and I hope that you guys can relate if you guys are small business owners yourselves, or have a dream of doing something just like on the more creative realm, but you just kind of don't know how to enter in or how to make that decision, or kind of just stepping into that boldness and courage of knowing that something's on your heart and kind of like figuring out why and digging deeper into that. So yes, I have some props here today. We have my sparkling water, my water, just in case, since I'm going to be talking a lot. I don't know if you guys like sparkling water too, but it's so good. I love LaCroix, but we've been not seeing our favorite flavors at some of the stores we've gone to, so bubbly will do. And then I have some other little things that I have as props, just because as I was reflecting, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to show them these things because they are part of the story and part of the why. So yes, let's dive into it. Why did I step into the path of putting in the work, putting in the hours of research, the heart, just the boldness to step into learning how and running my own business now? I would say, and I know this can seem a little deep to start, but you'll hear from fellow business owners in the community, mentors, that mindset and your why is going to be the thing that drives you, that pushes you, that brings you back every single time. And so when I say that this is the reason why I probably stepped in, was because someone in my life when I was 20 years old. Okay, let's just play it back. I'm going to show you guys what the person spoke over me, and then we'll play it back. Okay, so someone in my life gave me this. And to be honest, I don't remember on the exact lineage of the time frame when I got this. However, to this day, I look back at it and I'm like, wow, this was a pivotal gift, because when you read the quote, it really shows what was speaking into my life at that time and what I needed to step into that boldness that I had never stepped into before. So it says, surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you even when you don't see it yourself. And that's by Edmund Lee, and it's this cute little thing. So we now have it in our house. Okay, so soak that up. Such a good quote. And I want to just note that that's the impact of speaking life over someone else. Empowering them to believe in their abilities, to believe that they were made for more and made for impact, to step into God's calling on their heart. And so it was from my husband. My now husband, he was, back then we had been dating for I don't even know how many years. We're high school sweethearts. And he gave that to me. And I just have been reflecting back to that first part of the story. I was going to school. I was going to school to be an elementary education teacher. and I actually got a bachelor's degree for liberal studies. So that was a super amazing 4 years of my life. I don't regret any of it. And during that was when I made the decision to step into entrepreneurship. Did not know that that was going to happen, right? And so I remember Manny, I just remember him calling out in me, like, you're a great teacher. Like, you should, you know, like, and I had loved kids. I had always loved my cousins, just all the kids that I had been around in my life. And I think that's when I first went on the teaching route, because he called that out in me. And this is just me reflecting now as to where I see those sort of decisions. And I just felt like I could be a teacher, and I loved kids, so I was like, yeah, that's where I'm supposed to go. So I went to school and all of that. There's more to the story, another video we'll have to do. But so I'm going to school to be a teacher, and then at the same time, I must have been like super into style and fashion. I think at one point I was like, I'm gonna become a blogger, like, because I don't know, something in my creative fire and spirit just got lit up when I got to be myself, have the courage to make an outfit and put myself out there. And honestly, you guys, sometimes, and I find myself to this day still overthinking like what the world will think if I put something out there, and not to like a horrible extent, but like, you know, just those voices in our heads that make us doubt and those lies. And so I just want to be real. It's like all of us have those doubts and stuff. So even me putting myself out here right now, like, it's not just always, oh, this person just has it all together. It's like, it still takes courage. It still takes boldness. But, you know, it's worth it. It's worth it for me to speak this life into you, because when someone spoke this life into me, it led me to where I am now. It led me to believe that I could do it. So at that time, like I said, I must have been, like, loving fashion and putting outfits together. I would like, dress all cute for school. And then literally, like, senior year, I would wear no makeup, be in leggings. Anyways, you know, that was like high school when we would like dress all cute, and then by senior year, you're like rolling out of bed. Anyways, so we vividly remember this picture because Manny is a beekeeper. He does it on the side. Around that time, he was doing it more often. He had painted on a bee box. He had like, with the bee boxes, you paint them pretty much white. Typically, you can paint them any color, but he had painted the initials LA, or just some sort of like initial, and I had screenshotted this Snapchat that he had sent me around that time, and it was like, this is a sign for your boutique, babe. And so him just like believing in me, speaking that over me, and it literally planted this seed in my heart, like, oh my gosh, like, what if I could have my own store? Like, what if I could have my own boutique? What if I could source these items, style these pieces together, help people find cute outfits, and own an online store? Like, what? And in my heart at that point, I knew I didn't want it to be an in-person store. I was going to school. I sort of just could see that brick and mortar was just a lot of my time. And at that point, I was like, oh, like, I could do this and still be a teacher, you know? Like, I could have this on the side. And that was just the plan. I was like, okay, what if I just start working on this and launch this on the side? So that's kind of the start of it. At that same time, I was going to God with it. I was doing Bible plans on the Bible app. So there's certain ones, I'll have to find them and try to link them. But in that season, I just remember, like, I was just gleaning to God, and it was just beautiful. Like, I was just like, God, I trust you. Like, all glory to you. And I was reading these plans that were like, make God your CEO. This is how. And I was like, whoa, like, I've never thought of it that way. Like, I can own a business and like intentionally make God only one that's truly in charge. Like, yes, I make decisions, but it's all for him. And it was just a complete mindset shift. And I just felt throughout that entire like research and planning up to the point of launch process, like, I was doing something that I was supposed to be doing. Like, I felt called to it. So that was the start. We'll go now to like, okay, in those seasons of prepping, let's say, yeah, so it was October of 2018. I remember, and I don't know where it is, but I had written down like Lane and Lou for the first time, and like came up with the name, was like playing around with some logos on a piece of paper. And so we found that like a few months ago, and we look back at that, we're like, wow, you never know when you're dreaming something up that's something. And even if it doesn't blow up, whatever, like, it's still something, you're still called to it. And I'll go more into this, but this is what I've always stuck to. As long as you're impacting one heart, one person's heart with what you're doing, with the work you're doing, that's all it takes. And that is impact right there. And so whenever I feel down or let the lies come in, I'm like, you know, that person messaged me the other day that said this impacted them. Thank you for sharing. And it's like in those moments I remind myself of that. I'm like, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? And so I just want to encourage you in that way. Keep trusting. You're right where you need to be. And so in those months of research, it started in October of 2018. I remember like watching a ton of YouTube. I had a mentor. Her name was Jackie Giamone, so I'll have to like shout out her YouTube. She was a boutique owner. So I was going into a boutique owning, and I was like, I looked up to her. She was so raw and real, and she shared her knowledge and brought value. And I was like, yes, Jackie. Well, that was like my first experience with having a mentor, which was super cool. And I learned so much, down to like her making videos of how to get a seller's permit and just like different, like how to start a business like type thing. And so I started this binder, and I don't use it as much now, but I wanted to show you guys. It's like, this is the heart, you know, this shows like your business is like your baby. And I just remember pouring so much time. And mind you, I remember that next spring semester I had 18 units in college, and yet I still just had the heart, and every chance I could, I made time to do this. And in that season, God taught me you can make time to do something, or you make excuses. And so that's when I really learned that really we have the choice of where we put our time. And so when I put my time towards building this out, it was born, you know? I put the time towards it, and it was born. And so I know if you guys have businesses too, you can understand, like, it's a lot of the unseen hours, a lot of the unseen work. And anyways, I just want you to know it's not unseen by me. I relate. I see your heart, and I see the why. And that's why we do what we do. It matters, and it matters to God, and it matters to the purpose and the impact that you're bringing, and it matters to the overall experience that you're gaining and the wisdom that it's giving you for years to come. Like, honestly, things I've learned in business have so directly led to me putting that into my marriage now, and probably my kids one day. Like, it's more than just those unseen hours of work. It's for a reason. So I hope that I can encourage you today if you're in that first research phase or getting into business. There's so much beauty in it. And so this was kind of what it looked like for me from, say, October to launch time, which was April of 2019. Yeah. So no one knew about it from October to April. It was just kind of like my thing that I was doing along with the schoolwork and homework that I had. Plus, I think I was working 2 or 3, I know this sounds legit crazy, but I honestly think I was working 2 or 3 part-time jobs at that time. And that's just always been me. And I'm going to do a video on this, like, that's just always been me, and a go, go, go person. And if you can relate, I'm going to do a video on, like, me now entering into a new season of rest, and that being uncomfortable for me, but feeling like I can't pour in and be successful at something if I'm so spread thin in 1,000 different directions. Yes, that season of my life called for that. Like, I was in school. I wasn't going to quit. I had multiple jobs. Like, I had to pay the bills and start saving for the marriage that we wanted to enter into one day as kids that started dating in high school. Like, we, you know, from the ground up, we were saving. So it was just a season, and I think that's another thing I'll go more into. I have all these video ideas, so I just really, really hope you guys stick around and love the content, because I really just want to pour in the experiences God has shown me and gave me so much clarity from just a little bit over 2 years of now being a business owner. So then I launched Lean & Lou Boutique in April of 2019, and here we are in 2021. We just celebrated 2 years in April, and we're now rebranding to be less of a boutique, just because I just don't really see myself scaling Lean & Lou and my brand to be the boutique that brings in all the new trendy styles every season. It just, as much as I love putting outfits together and fashion, I can go shop and do that in other stores and support them. But for me, my joy comes from the impactful graphic tees and just faith-based and just sending sunshine boxes, like all of those things that have like hats or, you know, tees like this for our fellow small business community that create impact. And so it wasn't so much so the boutique style clothing like shoes and dresses anymore. And that's kind of why we're going, which I've always had graphic tees, but just primarily going to be going towards graphic tees and other impactful stuff. We have the cutest embroidered hats and just other stuff in the shop, so definitely check it out. But yeah, so as you can see, rebranding happens, revision, and it just all comes down to seasons and experience, and yeah, so that's kind of the story of why I started Lane and Lou initially. I'll go a little deeper now. I feel like I said, I just felt God put on my heart that I was called to create a lifestyle, not to create just a store, but create a lifestyle. And so now, right now, I'm like, okay, God, like, you want me to be on YouTube, like, making these videos, sharing? Well, if that's the lifestyle you want me to share and create and just empower within the small business community, then I will, God, you know? Like I said, it takes courage, and I'm not going to be perfect reflecting on all these times. Like, some of it might be hard to follow or, you know, not make sense. But I really just hope that it can impact you and stick with you. And I just want to be real. I'm right here with you. I am not above or know everything. Like, that's the last thing I want to be on this channel doing. Like, I really just want to meet you where you are and say I was there too. Like, and I just want to say, like, I want to bring value in content that's going to give you ideas on how to outsource and do all these things to better your business experience and just keep you growing. That's always what I've loved, being as a lifelong learner. So podcasts and books have helped me with that. And then more recently, mentors. And sometimes that means investing in teaching in a course, and that's what we did in 2020, February 2020. So about midway through of owning my business, I got coaching, and it just so happened to be from the people that I was working for, who at that time I had finished college, got my 4-year degree, and I know I'm kind of going back and forth, but I got my 4-year degree, and a few months before I had realized I don't want to be in the classroom. Like, something about me being able to shine in my creativity through my business, that was calling me. And that was all I knew. I didn't know what God had in store. Well, a few months later, he introduces me to the Rainmaker family. I had already been working for Stephen and Chelsea for like 2 years at that point, or maybe, 2 years at that point. Well, at this time, they were starting this online community where they teach families, really anyone, how to create passive income from the comfort of their home. They really target stay-at-home moms because they know, like, if you can make just an extra little $100 a day, most of the Amazon sellers in the community are making $100 a day, and they're not shipping out those orders. So for stay-at-home moms, it's an amazing opportunity. But that's just one group of people that they help. And so I've been a part of the community, as well as Manny, since February of 2020. And you guys, like I said, I'm going to do another video and just segment on mentorship, but it changed everything. I was doing it all on my own, and like I said, with God, my CEO, at the beginning. But when I got around entrepreneurs that had gone before me and just were thinking differently and taught me and instilled in me deeper whys and mindset shifts, that's when I just feel like Lane and Lou and the vision for the future just got taken to a whole new level. And that's not even like income. Like, we're not even talking income. We're just talking like wisdom, I guess, like business wisdom. But when that entered into my life, now that when I look back on it and still living it today, like, I have gone into so much newfound wisdom and that will propel me in my brands for the future because I joined that community. So in that community, in one of their first things that I ever did with them was their 7-day challenge. And we did this 7 levels deep experience. So I wanted to share it with you because that was one of the things that I think is my why for starting my business and why I wanted to be a full-time business owner. That was like my life goal, and now we're here because of God and His provision and His favor. And I truly believe that that favor fell upon this business and the why for this business when I entered into the Rainmaker family community, because I was being spoken over and uplifted from all of these amazing other people who were doing the exact same thing and just relating. And what they've always come back to is coming back to your why. And so when I did this, it's a 7 levels deep experience. You start out kind of like at a surface level. And if you guys watch as we continue on making videos on our channel, you'll notice I'm a really deep person. I love to deep think and I love to talk deep with other people. That's just something about me. So you start at a lower level, and then when you answer a question, you then ask yourself why to that question. Some of you might have done this exercise before. If you have, drop it in the comments. It's super powerful. So the 7 levels deep experience. The question was, why is it important to me to be an entrepreneur? You can say a business owner, whatever you want. You can fill in the blank. And I encourage you to do this if you wish. So my answer was, becoming an entrepreneur has allowed me to step into my creative gifts. And really, even though that's the first surface level answer, I feel like that was the root of me knowing, like, teaching in a classroom just wasn't for me, and that's okay. I gained so much in my college career and so many relationships and experiences that have led me to now, and I just think the creativity and being my authentic self in my online communities within Lane and Lou and My Happiest Mail give me this joy that obviously it's from God, you know, because it's the calling from God that He's put on my heart to do. And so when I'm doing that, I feel my full self. I feel excited and joyful and ready to just make impact. And I think it goes larger than myself. And I think that's another thing that stemmed from that creative outlet, was that I could, with what God was teaching me and me sharing my faith, they're just little things that I do within my businesses and my brands, it could impact more than just my life. And that was like the life changer for me. So when I asked, why is it important for me to step into my creative gifts? When I'm using my creative gifts, I am living out who God has made me to be. Why is it important for me to live out who God made me to be? Because when I'm living out who God made me to be, I'm the best version of myself. Why is it important for me to be the best version of myself? And I'm sure you guys can relate. You've felt not the best version of yourself before. And so I will continue with my answer. When I'm my best version, I can serve and love my husband, future children, family, friends, community, and God wholeheartedly. Why is it important for me to do that? Okay, I got cut off, but I'm back. So, because when my heart is too spread thin with busyness, I can't wholeheartedly be intentional like my heart wants. And I know that my heart answered like this because I've felt the opposite multiple times. I just finished a season of life where I felt this. I was so spread with busyness that I couldn't, and it was okay. I just knew it was only for a season because God was calling me to more, but I couldn't put all my time and focus into my businesses because I was so spread thin working a full-time job, which was a blessing, but this was just the reality. Being a wife, being a friend, a daughter, a daughter of God, like all the things that my heart wanted to put time towards, it made other things get pushed to the side, like different goals that just weren't priorities because they couldn't be. Exercising, time with God would often get pushed to the side. And so therefore I wasn't my full, like, wholehearted self being intentional because I was too spread thin. So that is a big thing that I've learned, and praise God that I can now say I'm in a new season because I just trusted Him leading me out of that season into one of rest and abundance, honestly. I'm only a few days a week in, and I'm so in awe and renewed. I've done yoga for the past few days, and that's been renewing to move my body and put that before I start my work day, you know? And so just different things like that. When I'm intentional in those ways, I'm able to be my best version like my heart wants in all of the other ways. And I know it might sound backwards, but it makes sense. It's so real. It's kind of like you can't pour into something if you're not like pouring into your cup as well. It's kind of like that. So why do I want to be wholeheartedly intentional like my heart wants? Because I want my life to radiate the love, support, and grace God has given and shown me. I truly, that's why I share when I have something on my heart. That's why I'm sharing here on this channel. I truly just feel like me radiating love, support, and grace as God has shown me will impact the people and the hearts that He needs me to impact. And yes, it might seem crazy for me to even think that that's possible, but in Him it is, and I know that that's why I'm doing this, is that I never know when something can impact someone's heart that just needed to hear that, or you know what I mean? And that's bigger than myself, and that's why I'm here. I get one life, so I want to use that to give the glory to God and to impact those people that need a little extra love, support, and grace. And honestly, He's shown me that within the small business community. I have grown to love it so much, and I have such a big place in my heart for other small businesses because, I don't know, I really enjoy celebrating others and uplifting them and empowering them to change their life too for something that they want to do with their creative gifts, and just use the calling that God has given them and step into it with courage and boldness. Why do I want my life to radiate those things? Okay, this is number 7, so the point is for like the 7th one to be your deepest one. So mine is because I pray the words that I share, the experiences I get, the lessons God teaches me can show people, our future kids in my life, that they too can live in that freedom forever. Because honestly, like I said, God showed me freedom. And when I stepped into living for Him, I became alive and truly alive, full of joy, full of life. And then the ending sentence really is where it hits home for me. I'm able to be that light when I'm an entrepreneur. And when I wrote that, you guys, like this sort of experience brings out the heart. When I wrote, I'm able to be that light when I'm an entrepreneur, that was it for me. I was like, that's why. Like, that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I've fought for this, and that's why I've done this on top of full-time jobs. That's why I've continued to do this and believe in the greater purpose and impact behind the work that I'm doing, because I got this reminder in a podcast just yesterday. Our identity is not in the work we do, and it never will be. Our identity is not in our job or what we fail to do. I mean, we'll fail every single day as humans. And to just know that our confidence and our identity does not have to be found in that and shouldn't be found in that because it's wavering and it's not unconditional. The fact that our identity is found in God and who we are in Him, it gives that freedom to enter into what He has for us, because He'll provide the rest. He'll guide the way. It'll all make sense when we are walking with Him. And so, as I've been spread thin, like I said, in other seasons of life where I was doing this calling on my heart but not putting all of my time towards it and all of my heart towards it with Him, I learned a lot. But when I wrote that, I'm able to be that light, use my creative gifts when I'm an entrepreneur. That's when I knew, wow, like, no wonder why that's been my goal, is to run my businesses from home and just continue to see where God needs me to serve. And so that's my why. And like I said, as a small business owner, you will hear all the time that your why is going to always bring you back. It's going to help you fight. It's going to help you just keep pressing on. And so I encourage you today to recall your why or find your why, because it's going to inspire you and bring you closer to God's calling for you, and just and bring out a boldness in you that you didn't think was there, because maybe you've been letting the lies in your head and overthinking just stop you from creating things and just comparing, and that's just a trap. And like I said, I want to come out and say, I'm right here with you. Like, we all struggle with that, but at the end of the day, when I start my day with God and just say, okay, God, like, here I am. Like, I am ready to be the light for you. What do you need me to do? There's just a lot of freedom in that and beauty. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and now you know a little bit more of why I entered into business owning as a whole. It's been a journey. It's been so fun. and I am so excited to see what God continues to lead us into. Just seeing the fact that He's completely started me as a boutique owner, and now we are like Amazon FBA sellers, and that's completely just changed our life. Like, I haven't even begun to talk about that, but it's just amazing. Like, when you step into this sort of calling, like, it releases like God to actually be able to produce the work and the fruit in you that he just wants to produce in your life. So yeah, I pray over each of you watching this that you would just feel encouraged and uplifted. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely like and turn on notifications for the next ones. You can follow us on social media. My Instagram is LaineyLou22. We have our online shop, Lane and Lou, and then our Happy Mail, home of modern Happy Mail products, is My Happiest Mail. So those are all on Instagram. That's where I'm mostly active. We also have other social medias, and you can check that out on our website, laneandlou.com, where we have an About Us page, and you can find a bunch of different links. I also will have a bunch of links listed below, so if you ever need, if something's mentioned in the video, I'm sure it'll be there, as well as any other links that you're interested in, things that I talk about. I'll try to link it below, as well as just different things that I may think, oh, do you guys want to know where this water bottle's from? It's from Amazon. I'll link it below, like certain things like that. So like I said, stay tuned. There is a lot of exciting stuff coming. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope this could encourage your heart today. I love celebrating fellow small business owners, so keep it up. You guys got this. You're here for a reason.